place last week. New details on what the accused burglar actually did and what got the couple affected out of the home. You'll want to hear that. Also, when floodwater from last week's downpour invaded this West El Paso neighborhood, residents here didn't realize how big their problems were about to get. And if you're a student at New Mexico State University, a new policy could change when you get your federal aid this upcoming semester. And the next time your car gets towed and you're in Texas, you might be able to get all the money that you pay in fees back and then some. But you have to know what to look out for, so we'll show you. And you're sharing your towing horror stories, like Jordy, who says, scratched my new vehicle on an unauthorized tow. You gotta hate that, Jordy. I feel for you. Nichole, how about that weather?
We're still tracking isolated showers in the forecast tonight, but will Hurricane Dolores dump heavy rain on the borderland this weekend? That answer in Storm Track Weather.
It's all next on ABC 7 at 9. Get ready. You become part of the day's news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. I'm Bob Harp, and of course, we'll have all the day's top stories and the ones you're buzzing about tonight in social media.
And I'm Nichole Gomez. I'm tracking isolated showers on Doppler radar right now, and it looks like Las Cruces, you picked up some light rainfall this afternoon, but El Paso, we weren't quite as lucky. But as I mentioned, we're still tracking those isolated showers. A few storms possible tomorrow, but what can we expect this weekend? That answer in your full forecast, Bob.
All right, thanks so much for that, Nichole. We do begin tonight with some brand new details on a man who allegedly broke into a home and terrorized an elderly El Paso couple. Police eventually tracked him down in San Antonio. Thanks to fingerprints he allegedly left inside the home on the 1600 block of Dee Lane. That's pretty close to Scenic Drive. The victims identified 24-year-old Gerald Dunn in a photo lineup. U.S. Marshals are planning to send him back to El Paso from San Antonio. In the complaint affidavit obtained by ABC-7 today, we also learned there's a third victim mentioned in this case. It states that person went to the couple's home that morning to give him a ride. And that is when Dunn allegedly ran out of the home with a knife in hand and grabbed that person by the shirt. Police say that third victim then fell down and dropped his or her car keys. Dunn allegedly grabbed those keys and took off in that person's car. Investigators were able to identify Dunn's fingerprints from the home, according to this document that we got. Police also saying Dunn made off with some money from the couple's home. He is now facing a charge of aggravated burglary, and he allegedly followed the couple into their home when they were on their morning walk. Well, Fort Bliss is not announcing any major security changes tonight because of that shooting spree in Tennessee today. 4 U.S. Marines were killed when a gunman opened fire at 2 military facilities. Government officials say the shooter was also wounded a soldier and a police officer, and then he was shot and killed.
He looked to the side, and next thing you know, he lifted up his arms like this with a big black gun, and it was one shot, and then it was just endless shots, one after another.
Tonight, a federal prosecutor is saying the shootings are being treated as an act of domestic terrorism, but the FBI is saying that they're still investigating a motive, so that is not known right now. Less than a few hours ago, a jury found Colorado theater shooter James Holmes guilty of murder. This for his planned attack that left 12 people dead and dozens others wounded. Now, the verdict means the 27-year-old could get the death penalty for the 2012 shooting. Jurors must now decide whether Holmes is executed or sent to prison for life without the possibility of parole. We have a traffic alert to tell you about. 2 of them, actually. This one is at I-10 east, that is heading east towards downtown. That's a wreck. TxDOT is not closing this area tonight. There are no TxDOT crews there on the scene as we've seen the last few weeks. But a little while ago, I even passed by that area and saw a few vehicles involved in a wreck. It looks a lot better than it did about half an hour ago. So if you were on I-10 East heading toward downtown, just be aware of that. Now, this is a scheduled TxDOT closure. The also eastbound lanes on the east side, I-10 and Yarborough. Look at that. Everybody's being forced off the freeway, as they have been, as TxDOT crews line up and down the freeway to do construction. So keep in mind, Montana or Border Highway might be your best bet if you are in a hurry and you don't have time to sit in traffic on the freeway. Then again, really, who does? Okay, to storm track weather right now. Word tonight of possible showers in our area is not what some of you want to hear. You haven't even had a full week to clean up from Friday's storm. Steve Salazar sent us this video showing his West El Paso neighborhood during the big downpour. Crown Ridge is the street he's on. That's pretty close to Red Road in Helena, Troy. It's one of numerous roads that were destroyed in the storm. Another street in need of repairs in that neighborhood, Swede Johnson, also on the western base of the Franklin Mountains. We've been showing these pictures since Friday. One of our viewers sent them in through KVIA.com's Facebook page. Now, wow, look at that. Can you imagine that right in front of your house? The city is telling us the drainage system there just could not handle the amount of water that rushed off of the mountains on Friday. It not only flooded some streets, it collected underneath others, ripping them apart. Of course, some of you in that area are dealing with more property damage than others, and tonight they're pointing the finger.
And it had never happened in all the 7 years that I've lived here. And we've had some pretty bad rainstorms, and we've never had any kind of flooding like this.
Residents on Swede Johnson saying this unfinished rock wall diverted the water, causing heavy damage to this home and the next home and the next. Cindy, who you just heard from, is saying that her yard was under 2 feet of water. And she's also saying that she didn't know what to do afterwards, walking into the backyard under 2 feet of water. It was a muddy mess. So we've learned that the wall was built in the past year but never finished. So we actually went to the business behind Cindy's home. It's called Franklin Storage, but the manager would not comment. So the question of the day now is, more rain going to wash them out again? Now we go to Nichole Gomez for a look at what's to come. Good evening.
Hi, Bob. Still tracking those showers on Doppler radar, mainly to our south, towards our northwest, but we still have that shot of seeing showers in the forecast tonight and even through your weekend. But let's talk about those current temperatures out there. We are in the 90s again, moisture still in place, 91 at the airport here in El Paso, 82 Las Cruces. So notice just south of El Paso, southwest, we have that stream of light showers moving towards the north, and as you can see, it's also tracking towards the Boot Hill of New Mexico. But we'll zoom in a little closer here, and we may be seeing some sprinkles around Mesquite, along I-10, and even Vado. But as you can see, we're not seeing any major downpours from this light rain tracking into the region. Also seeing some heavier rainfall around Silver City, but we're not tracking any heavy thunderstorms currently. And also southwest of Sierra Blanca, we have that small cell that's also moving towards the north. Now, I am keeping a close eye on Hurricane Dolores, which is currently moving out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour with winds around 100 miles per hour. I'll let you know if this hurricane will affect our weekend, if we're expecting those major downpours coming up in just a bit. Bob?
I'm going to put you on the spot. Were you a fan of Seinfeld back in the day, Nichole?
You always put me on the spot.
No, not a fan of Seinfeld.
No.
Oh, I was going to say the infamous Dolores. Okay, guess not. Anyway, this is how you connect with us. See you on the CW on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I see some of our younger interns here in the studio. Who's Seinfeld? Just kidding. You guys probably know who he is, right? Okay, can you believe it's already been 29 years since this hit the movie theaters? One of my favorite scenes from one of my favorite movies. The Three Amigos. Well, Chevy Chase in this, his character is oblivious to the fact right now that he's wasting water when two of his friends are in desperate need of it. This is hilarious, but it's not so funny in real life if you think about it, though. Gotta love Martin Short's face. Now, we are also ourselves in the middle of a hot and dry desert like they were. And to make sure future generations don't end up like the two thirsty amigos, we are all asked to conserve water. Well, Mother Nature definitely plays a role in the amount of water we're able to save for the future and the rainfall. And that is the focus of ABC-7's special report tonight. Reporter Jerry Nájera looks into a new debate on whether our region is in a drought or if we've actually pulled out of it. Jerry's report tonight at 10 on ABC-7. And we all need water to drink. And if you have a family here, it's a story you don't want to miss. And in the meantime, Jerry has been working on a story for us tonight, Nichole, and it has people talking. Whether you're a business owner or a driver, you're going to want to hear this story.
The next time your car is towed and you shell out all that cash to get it back, you might be entitled to get all your money back and then some.
Yeah, 3 times that money, Nichole. Sounds pretty good. Well, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation sent us this picture. Okay, take a close look. This is what a no parking / towing sign should look like. Do you notice there is a white background with red lettering? Well, a lot of people have been confused because if you notice, if you go around town, often you'll find signs with red background and white letters. That is wrong. So the colors being inverted could simply mean you get all your money back ×3. But the thing is, Nichole, you'd actually have to take that issue to court and then, of course, prove and show the judge what the sign looked like. And hey, according to the Texas law, the white sign with red lettering is the only one you could be held responsible for.
I think I'm owed some cash, but that's a lot of cash people are talking
about.
Yeah,
it is, and you have to know what to look out for. So white sign, red lettering, you're on the hook to pay for it, but if it's the red sign with the white lettering, you're in the clear.
I feel like I see the wrong sign a lot more than I see the right sign.
I know.
Though.
We actually, not far from our station, we saw some wrong signs. So business owners, that's a chance for you if you really want to hold people to the no parking ordinance, or not ordinance, but just don't want them to park there. Make sure you have the right sign, right?
Right. And Bob, on our KVIA.com Facebook page, we're asking you to share your towing horror stories, and they've been coming in all night. Let's get to some of those right now. Jordy says, scratched my new vehicle on an unauthorized tow. Manager was always avoiding my calls and never called me back, even though I filed a damage claim.
And then we have James telling us this, actually responding to Jordy. That's why the tow company is supposed to take pictures before they load and strap them. They don't want any kind of accident happening because it looks bad on their part.
And Anthony says, everyone knows when there's an event in El Paso, tow trucks come out the woodworks and rip you off. It's happened to me countless times. And Earl says, towing in El Paso is as crooked as a snake.
I have to say, though, there are some good towing guys out there. It was back on Thanksgiving, Nichole, I don't know if you remember, but I had some vehicle issues. Had a blowout, actually, on I-10 right by the Sun Bowl. I mean, who wants to be stuck on the side of I-10 right there, the busy stretch of I-10? So this really cool tow truck guy, I wish I remembered his name top of my head, it was so long ago, but he gave me a ride and it took care of everything and was sharing his stories about how everybody hates them. But sometimes they do good. When your car breaks down, they need, you need them. So.
Well, you got lucky.
Oh, yeah, I did. Hey, well, we are not done yet. You know, the drivers, you have rights as well when it comes to actually catching a tow truck driver in the act of putting your car on their truck. You have rights, and this is what they are. We learned today, doing this story, that if you catch them and your car is not fully hooked up and they're in the process of hooking it up, you can tell them, drop my car, and you won't have to pay anything, and they have to drop your car. However, if it's fully hooked up and they're ready to take off, but they're still in the same parking lot, you can tell them, hey, stop, drop my car, and they will, but you have to pay a small drop fee as well. So now you know you have rights as a driver there and where you park. Football season, by the way, is right around the corner. If you haven't heard, Conference USA just releasing its preseason predictions. How does UTEP rank? And how do you feel about their ranking? We'll have that story coming up in just a bit in your social media buzz. Also, there's a story tonight that has some of you saying this, like Ruby, honor or make money off of her. And Daniel, Mac apparently likes to market off of the deceased. Well, they're talking about the new cosmetic collection by Mac, and it's all kinds of bitty bitty bomba based off Selena. This one you knew would have people talking. Nichole, what do you think? Just before we even get to the story, is that wrong to make money off of a dead celebrity?
No, not if you're living through her dreams.
Okay, I was going to say Tupac would have a heyday, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
He has more albums dead than he does alive, right?
Absolutely.
Anyway.
But as far as those rain chances, I'm still tracking some activity on Doppler radar. We'll take a look at the latest future track computer model, talk about your rain chances for this weekend coming up in weather.
This is ABC 7 at 9 on the CW. You don't just watch the news. You are the news. We'll be right back.